Welcome to the fish tank.
Hey everybody, Fishman here, and welcome to another video. I thought I'd start off this week's fish room vlog with the state of my fish room after almost a week off. I had to return the vehicle a little early because of a mix-up with the rental place, but it's pretty much 6 days, and if you remember from before I left, this tank here had the youngest fish in my fish room. There were some really tiny baby guppies, and if you go away for a week, they are probably the only ones that are really in any kind of danger, and as you can see, they're perfectly fine. And as you can also see, the duckweed, I mean, you can tell how often you have to remove duckweed when you have it, because this is just, 6 days worth of growth that I don't, do this with, like pull it out. So I'm going to have to obviously do a bit of pruning on this, and also on some other fish tanks for other plants. This one here is the other one, only got a little dirty. No real reason for it other than the fact that, again, I'm not around to take care of water changes and stuff like that. Everything else is perfectly fine, except this tank here. This is the strangest mystery I've had in a fish tank in, well, as long as I can remember. If you remember, I had some young African cichlids in here, OB zebras, and they are nowhere to be found. I can't find them at all. And there were some 3-week-old ones in there in about around about a week. No clue. This is that same first tank I showed you, and you can see they're all fat and happy now. This is like 2-3 days later. They're being fed mostly vinegar eels and ground up fish food, though I am adding a little bit of microworms now again, just to test it out. And this, I actually removed the timeout box from this tank. Well, there's no reason for it, obviously, because those fish are nowhere to be found. And I saw these two guys sparring, so I thought I would show you them, because I've raised these from, well, pretty much hatchlings, and they're starting to color up, and as you can see, they're getting to the point where they're going to start breeding. And actually, I think I will breed these. These are Bosmani rainbows, and they're lovely fish, so they're definitely going to be something in the future I want to show you. One other thing I want to get to before I get to what I want to talk to mostly about in this is this thing here. I actually am going to be taking this down, not because of this. I mean, this is so easy to fix. When I was away for the week, it had obviously just spiraled to the point where the axle came off. It's no big deal. I mean, it's easy to put back in, and of course it's also very easy to keep from doing that anymore. But I don't really want to use up the Delrin. I want to keep it as is, so I think I'll just take that down. This was a pleasant surprise from when I was away. Remember, this is one of the 2 tanks I set up for the Daphnia, and as you can see, the few that I had put in here have just blossomed while I was away for 6 days. This is very good. I really like this result. I have to make it sustainable still, so there's definitely more work to be going on in this, and I'm actually going to show you a lot more of that at the end, because I've done some extra work on it. I took out one turkey baster full of just random in the middle of the tank, and as you can see, there's lots of Daphnia. And also cyclopses. I put in 4 pregnant females, and as you can see, they're hopping around nicely. So that's really good. Now, most of the rest of this is going to be changes I'm making to my live food. I mean, I'm trying to get away from actually doing a lot of microworms anymore. Even though I've managed to get rid of whatever was infecting it, they are quite fine now. I've gone to 2 different methods of culturing it, and pretty much I don't use yeast anymore. And this version here is a little drier, as you can see. It does reduce the amount of microworms I can harvest, but because I'm not relying on it solely anymore, it doesn't really matter. I get more than enough for, like, as part of my feeding regime. There's enough of it left that it's perfectly fine. And to keep the fruit flies out, I've gone to using crinoline. I use actually this material for an awful lot of things. It's just pretty much a very fine meshed polyester, and it's it's used for lining mostly like under dresses for women, like wedding dresses, that sort of thing. But I find because it's such a fine mesh, it keeps, in this case, fruit flies out of my cultures, still allowing water to go in. And also, if you remember from the vinegar eels, which you'll be seeing shortly because I'm doing some changes with that too, it's also good for that, just to allow air in and nothing else. So that's one way I've been culturing them now. I find the neat thing about it is, this is the other way, by the way, I keep a lid on it, which keeps it a bit more moist, and you'll see I don't have to add any water to this. Again, no yeast. This culture here and the other three that you see in here, let's see if I can remember how long it's been now. About 3 weeks. I have harvested these earlier today, so that's why you don't see anything climbing up the sides. But the neat thing about doing it this way is they don't smell. I mean, these are, like I said, 3+ weeks old, and the old method of culturing, these would start to smell at the fish room, and I would have subcultured them and gotten rid of them long since now. So apparently the yeast and their byproducts are the reason for the extra odor, let's say. These are my vinegar eel cultures, and as you can see, they are absolutely teeming. The last time I did a change to these, I added, I pretty much doubled my capacity for them, and now I have 10 cultures going. 10 of these, I think they're 2-liter, well, there used to be iced tea containers, so they are doing really well. But I find it's easier to see them. As you can see here, you can see the culture better. This is what I do when I want to feed them. I put them in a, well, the same as in the other video. You'll see I have there's a bulb at the bottom of this. There it is there, and then I put a sponge in now and just put fresh water at the top. And it's hard to see them through the apple cider vinegar. So I thought I would try is going to just, as you can see there, white vinegar. And it should make it easier, if they live through it, to see how the worms are doing. So if I know whether or not there's enough culture in there to harvest, that sort of stuff. So I've done the same thing. I mean, pure white vinegar and apple cider vinegar both have exactly the same concentrations of vinegar, like they're 5%. So what I'm going to do is I diluted it halfway, just the same as I would have done with apple cider vinegar, and now I'm going to take out exactly the same amount as if I were harvesting for a regular feeding out of both of these, or at least all 4 of these, and I'm going to use that to start these 2 here, and then I'm going to add them into the rotation. So now I'm going to have 12, which is more than I need, which is good, and so those 2 are going to sit for almost a month now before they come up to the top end of the rotation. And then I'll see, well, how well they're doing. In a month, they should be more than teeming enough to be able to use for that. Now, I should notice I put, this is again clear vinegar, this pure white vinegar, and I'm going to see if they are going. Like I'm going to gradually, every time I subculture that one, I'm going to add white vinegar instead of the apple cider you see here. And then I'm going to see if, as I gradually reduce it to white vinegar instead of just going straight to white vinegar, if there's any kind of a difference. I know most of this doesn't really matter. It was just something I wanted to do out of curiosity. So this is the rotation here. These are the 10. The 2 at the very back are the ones that are going to gradually be added to be white vinegar instead of apple cider. And these 2 are the white. You can see there's color to it, obviously, because I started off with culture from here. So we'll just see how it all goes. I mean, it might, like I said, it might interest you guys, it might not. This is the Daphnia setup, and I've got it all plumbed now, and I had a bit of a die-off from when I was away. Not in this tank, this is the one that's teeming now with the Daphnia. In this tank here, the algae went down a bit because I always, when I go away, I reduce the amount of hours I have lights on just so the ballast stay cool. Just in case, because I'm going to be away. I mean, also unplug everything in the house, so is just part of that. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you like this style of video, please like and or subscribe. Let me know what you think about the things you saw today, and suggestions for other culturing things. I am going to go out again and try and get some paramecia going, and I'm going to show you how to do that. That'll be coming up later. And as you can see, those two tanks will drain into here once I put in the auto top-off system for it. And then hopefully this tank here will have tons of culture I can just remove at will, because the other two ones are going to be the main ones. And then of course excess will just drain down here. And then sometimes I think I might be able to hook up something to that, but we'll get to all that later on. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video, and bye for now.